Good evening, Riv here, and welcome back to 7 Days to Die. This is the Gameplay Basics series, and I am starting this particular video off with the skills that I've been promising for the last all my videos. So what I'm going to do is just switch over to, I'm in another game, and I'm going to open up the skills and go through them there. So these are the type of skills that you've got: the perception, the strength, fortitude, agility, intellect, and they're your perk books. I haven't actually maxed out any of the perk books yet, but I've got close on a few of them. This particular game is day 23. So the skills that I mainly go with are strength. I specialize in shotguns and clubs. I don't worry too much about the sledgehammers. I just find them a little bit too slow and too stamina draining. When you're taking on several zombies at a time, you want to have a little bit more stamina in there. So I haven't really put any points into Pummel Pete yet, which is the main club bat line. I put 1 point in a couple of levels ago, but haven't really touched it since. But once I got some shotguns, I started putting points into that. The first things I put points into was Sexual Tyrannosaurus, -69er Mother Lode, and then I put a point or two into Masterchef. Then I flipped over to the Fortitude line and put some points into Iron Gut. Iron Gut is quite important because it reduces the food and water that you consume, so you've got to eat and drink less. So 2 points into that. You can see there's 10% reduction. You can hold your breath longer, but I don't really worry too much about water. You just don't tend to need it that much, I find. So I haven't put any extra points into it yet. To unlock more points, I need to get my Fortitude to tier 5, but haven't really invested any other points into this tree. Living off land is good because I do farms. I try and get a farm going as soon as possible. Being able to grow your own plants and cook better quality food is always a good thing. So living off the land and Iron Gut are the only ones I put into for that. Primarily strength, and then I'll put some points into intellect. Advanced engineering just for the crafting station, so the forge, what's the second one? The workbench and cement mixer, and then the generators. I haven't got the science station yet. The battery banks, and grease monkey are your vehicles. You don't necessarily need to put points in for the vehicles. You can just buy the parts or find them. If you buy them from the trader, they will cost you a lot of money. But if you're doing a lot of looting runs and finding a lot of materials, then you can offset that fairly easily. Daring Adventurer is handy just to get some more quest rewards when you do the trader quests. So we'll just quickly go through them. Perception, you're going with spears, rifles, javelins, and explosives. I don't tend to really put points into this. The only one that I would put points into would be Lucky Looter, because Lucky Looter increases the score, if you will, of the loot that you can get. So you'll end up getting better loot earlier. Penetrator would be handy if you're using the AP rounds on your rifle and you're using a tunnel-based forward system. Then you can specialize in the Penetrator and you can shoot through multiple zombies. Animal tracking is good if you're a hunter because you can crouch down on the ground and you'll see a little icon of any animals, particularly rabbits and chickens that are hard to see in tall grass. So that's not too bad. Treasure hunter just reduces the radius. Yeah, reduces the radius of the treasure when you're hunting them. You get them from treasure maps, which you'll find in loot. But yeah, basically rifles, they're your explosives, they're your spears. Lockpicking, obvious. Better lockpicking skills and being able to craft lockpicks. Infiltrator, less damage from traps. Animal tracker, finding animals a bit easier. Penetrator, shooting through multiple zombies. Lucky looter, finding better loot. That would probably be the only one that I would consider putting points into. Treasure hunter, easier hunting treasure maps. Salvage, that's wrenching. Yeah, when you're wrenching things, you'll get more materials back. Strength, shotguns, clubs, and sledgehammers are the weapons that you'll use, and your tools, so axes, pickaxes, shovels, that kind of thing. So boomstick is your shotguns. When you max that out, more damage, faster fire rate, and faster reload. Leg shots will cripple opponents. I tend to aim for the head if at all possible, so I don't really worry about leg shots. I'll repeat, just clubs. More damage, 200% more damage to stunned enemies. Power attacks, 100% chance to knock down foes. And 3 successive hits in a short time cause the last blow to do 100% extra damage. And getting in there and just swinging with your bat. Same thing with the sledgehammer. More damage, faster swinging. Sexual Tyrannosaurus, just extra stamina. Reduce melee and tool stamina usage by 25% and power attacks by 50%. I generally only do power attacks, so that's a really good skill for me. And when you do a killing blow, you get 30 stamina back. So I would consider that an essential build, an essential skill for a melee build. Heavy armor, I always go the heavy armor route. Less damage, but you are slower. So speccing into that. It reduces the movement stamina penalty and improves the armor durability. Sorry. Pack Mule, you can put points into Pack Mule, which unlocks the bays, but I've already unlocked them with pockets. So in your clothing, you can craft a single pocket, which is a single slot unlock, or you've got the double ones, which do 2. So all the clothing pieces have those, and the armor ones have the triple armor pocket mod. And just by putting all those in through looting and crafting, I've managed to unlock all of them, thus saving points in the Pack Miller skill. But starting out, especially if you're playing a solo build, a solo game, then maybe put a couple of points in there just to help you early game. You can always go to the trader and buy a Forgotten Elixir. It's, I think, 40,000 Dukes or something, which will reset all your skills. 0 skills having been equipped, but you'll have all your points back. Masterchef, just better cooking and less resources, 20% less of the ingredients. I haven't put the extra point in there yet because I don't really use the recipe. Grandpa's secret recipes, and it cooks a bit faster. I'm more interested in putting points into other skills at this level. Minor 69er. So minus 69 increase the damage by 50%, block damage by 150%, axe, pick, chainsaw, or auger. You'll just dig up or chop down trees a lot faster by putting points into that. So I always do a lot of mining just to get the cobblestone rocks and then the cement going through the forge. So I always max that out as soon as possible. And Mother Lode. Mother Lode increases the gain of the resources that you're chopping, picking, or digging up. And you want the minor 69er for the tool crafting. Now, tool crafting, all weapon and tool crafting, you can only craft tier 5, which is the blue, like the axe down here. So that was a crafted axe. But you can loot or purchase from a trader tier 6. That's the only way that you get tier 6. So you'll be able to craft tier 5 everything, but when you find a tier 6, keep hold of it. Even if you're not using that particular weapon, keep it, because you might decide at a later stage to try it out, and then you've got a max level one. So we go into Fortitude, physical resilience, headshot damage, chance to dismember with fists and machine guns. So if you want to use the fist weapons, it comes in a couple of varieties. One's a belt, knuckle wraps, brass knuckles, and a weird amalgamation of various bits of metal, corkscrews and screwdrivers and all kinds of stuff into some pretty chunky looking brass knuckles. I don't really go with knuckles. I tried them a couple of times, but I just think you have to be a little bit too close. But there is a good benefit of that. One of these yeah, you can knock the teeth out. So when you punch them with this particular skill unlocked, you'll stop them from being able to infect you with their bite. So that can be handy. Because it's quite a fast attack, you can just run in and just start beating everything without risk of infection. Machine gunner, that's the big machine gun. More damage, faster fire rate, faster reload. They're all pretty similar. And that one unlocks the AK-47 crafting. All the weapon skills are going to be about the same, really. They're either going to do more attack damage, they're going to reload faster, or fire faster. So we won't go into too much detail with that because they're all about the same. Huntsman, that's if you're the hunter, if you're playing in a multiplayer game with a group of friends. If someone goes the hunter that does all the hunting, they should spec into that because you'll end up getting a lot more meat and an easy time in providing food. So you'll get meat, leather, bone, and if you're attacking zombie animals, zombified animals, dogs, bears, you'll get more rotten flesh from them. Well insulated. If you're planning on living in a harsh environment, like the desert, the snow, or the burnt biome, this would probably be a pretty good skill to get. I tend to always congregate around the forest kind of areas and just do looting runs to the harsh areas. This will just give you protection against those particular weather effects. You harvest more material from your plants and you'll get more seeds. You can craft seeds. Yeah. I'll always put 2 points in, but I haven't really found a need for the third point. By the time you've got a farm going, you're going to get plenty of crop, so you don't really need the extra one. But I suppose if you are doing a large group multiplayer game and someone was the dedicated farmer, then that one could be handy just to get more material. Pain tolerance I'll generally put points into, just because it's still fairly early game, 20 something days, day 23. I haven't put the points into it yet, but pain tolerance will stop you when you get hit in hand-to-hand combat. You won't get stunned. If a zombie gives you a pretty decent hit, you'll get stunned, you move really slow, and your screen shakes a little bit. Putting points into there just reduces that. Reduces your HP loss, and you won't get stunned at all by the time you max it out. Healing factor. I don't normally put points into it. It's basically just a permanent heal over time on you. It's very low at the start and gets a fair bit better. 1 health every 6 seconds versus 1 health every 90 seconds. Critical injuries like sprains, broken bones, they'll heal a lot faster as well. Iron Gut, I mentioned that briefly already. Less food and less water usage, and you can hold your breath longer. And buffs from consumables, so those, the big meals, if I've got any on me. No. So vegetable stew, max stamina bonus is 20. So buffs from consumables, they last 20% longer. Doesn't say how long the buff is, but I'll just eat one. 8 minutes. Yeah, so it's an 8-minute buff. Yeah, so I got 2 points in that already, so 20% longer. If you max it out, it's 50% longer. Cardio, just stamina regen when you're sprinting. In hand-to-hand combat, I do tend to sprint around a little bit. So that could be a handy skill to have. But it's just weighing how many points you're prepared to invest into it, because to get it maxed, you do need Fortitude level 7. And you're looking 1 point, 2 points, and 2 points. So 2, 4, 5, 6 points to get to Fortitude level 7. And that's 1 point. And they're probably just 1 point each. You can't see because it's still locked. And it is only a 30% regen bonus, so I'm not super worried about it. I get my stamina back by Sexual Tyrannosaurus. Yeah, killing blows grant 30 stamina. Agility, I've never really played an agility build. I have seen people do it. When my daughter plays, she tends to go with agility because she likes archery and she likes parkour because she tends to fall from height a lot. So when you max out your parkour, you'll never get a sprained or broken leg when falling. It increases safe fall distance by 5 meters, can jump 2 meters higher, and never get a sprained or broken leg. So you'll still die, but you're not going to get a broken leg from it. But yeah, if you like jumping, so I can drop down here without taking any damage, and that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's 6 blocks high. And she regularly jumps off the roof onto that, so 6, 7, 8. That's 9 blocks high, and she doesn't take damage. Alright, so agility, just athletic stuff, what you would expect. Dismember with bows, handguns, and knives. Archery. Craft better bows. So more damage, faster aiming. Bows can be a little bit slow because you've got to pull the bow back. Crossbows are the opposite of that. They're ready to fire straight away like a gun, but then they take a long time to reload it. So yeah, it depends on what you want to do. But if you're going to use bows and crossbows for more than just the first few levels, speccing into this could be good. You'll get more damage and you'll be faster aim, and your draw and reload is faster. Gunslinger, that's pistols, so the 9mm and the 50 cal, and also covers SMG. Once again, just more damage, faster fire rate, faster reload. Unlocks pistol grafting. So if you're going with an agility build, pistols are good. You put silencers on them, just like you can with a lot of other weapons. The 9mm does have a decent sized mag, and you can put a mod on there that gives it more ammunition. The 50 cal doesn't. 6 shot. I don't really use them. Deep cuts, that's knives. So your bone knife, your hunting knife. Pretty sure there is a machete. Yeah, machete's the big knife. I think it's a little bit weird that you can do bleed damage to zombies because they're zombies, but it's a thing. So knife crafting, enemies run 10% slower while bleeding, and you can inflict 3 bleeding wounds on an enemy. Wolves, bears, sure, if you want to get that close to them anyway. But zombies, I don't think you should have a bleed on them. But they have to make the knives a little bit better because they do have short range. Run and gun. Hipfire accuracy and run fast while reloading. Now this is a good skill. You will notice when you're reloading that you are running a lot slower. So if I'm running this speed, I shoot, and then I reload. I slow down to basically a walk. So putting points into that skill. Hipfire accuracy is improved by 10%, movement penalty while reloading 30%, 60, and there's no penalty. So that would be good. If you can run away from a wandering horde or a horde knight and reload at full speed, there's quite a lot of use in that, I think. Flurry of blows, one-handed melee weapons, and that covers brawling, knives, machetes, and stun battons. Stun battons don't have a very good reputation. That's in the last one, the Intellect. But clubs, so this one you could actually put points into if you're going to be going into the strength tree with the clubs. Attack speeds by 10%, 17 and 25, and each kill recharges stamina as well. So if you were to combine 3 points into Flurry of Blows with 4 points into Sexual Tyrannosaurus, anytime you kill a zombie, you're getting 30. You're getting 60 stamina points back. So my stamina is 166. I don't have any food buffs. I do have the stamina. It's about to run out. 146 is my max stamina. Light armor, just the opposite of the heavy armor in the strength build. Light armor reduces light armor movement penalty by 15% and stamina penalty by 10, and increases the durability. max tier 75% and stamina penalty 50%, durability by 200%. I tend to always go heavy armor, but if you are speccing into light armor, but you do end up getting into hand-to-hand combat a bit, then this would be a good skill to have. If you're always back using bows, rifles and stuff, and you never really get into close quarters, then maybe save your points and don't worry too much about that. Parkour, already covered that. Say fall distance by 5 meters, jump 2 meters higher, and never get a sprained or broken leg while falling. And reduces your stamina cost of jumping by 40%. Hidden Strike. Hidden Strike is good when you do a lot of stealth looting. So you go into a building, you crouch down into your stealth position, and you walk through. When you find a zombie, you get stealth attacks. Putting points into here, that is dealing an extra 50% damage with 1 point, an extra 250% damage with 5 points into it. So you should be able to one-shot probably every zombie except maybe the Hawaiian shirt. The army zombie, you should still be able to one-shot, but depending on the armor of the helmet, you might need to put a second shot in. But either way, if you're speccing into quiet, stealthy runs, this would be a good skill to get. And from the shadows, noises from actions are muffled, sneak movement's faster, and the zombies will stop looking for you faster. Noise from actions muffled by 50%, sneak movement's 50% faster, and they'll stop looking for you after 20 seconds. So that one's not too bad. Last one, Intellect. Intellect, I think, is a skill tree that everyone should put some points into. You don't have to, but it's more quality of life. Particularly the Daring Adventurer, because you get better rewards when you do the trader quests. Trader quests are a good way to get loot and XP and money. So just getting more rewards from them can only be a good thing. So at 1 point, it's just another choice for. So when you hand in a quest, you'll get 2 options as a reward to pick from. This gives you a 3rd option to choose from, and it gives you more coins. So there are a lot of gadgets that you'll get with the Intellect tree. Turrets are really good. The stun baton, it's good in theory. It's just a weak club, and when you do attack someone after 4 or 5. Yeah, it doesn't say. I think it's about 4 or 5 hits. It'll get electrically charged, so when you hit a zombie when it's electrically charged, you'll stun them. They'll stand there being electrocuted for a few seconds, so it gives you a couple of seconds of respite, but it doesn't do as much damage as a club or a bat, so I tend to not really use it that much. So Intellect, headshot damage, 50% chance to dismember with stun battens and robotic turrets. So putting points into stun battens. I did use them in one of my games. They were okay. I basically used it the same way as a club, and just found it took longer to kill the zombies. I didn't really find a benefit to the electric shock, because you do have to build that charge up with more hits. So crafting stun battens, more damage, stun victims 20% longer. 50% more damage and stun 100% longer. So when your stun is only 2 or 3 seconds, you're getting up to maybe 5 or 6 seconds. It's not worthwhile enough, I don't think. Robotic turrets, on the other hand, are quite useful. Do I have any? No, I don't. Back in the house I do. I'll grab one a bit later on. Okay, so I'm back here at my home base. This is the Sledge Turret. It is the first one that you'll get, and then you've got the Robotic Turret and Robotic Sledge. There you go. So Robotic Sledge is the first turret that you'll get. Basically, when you shoot, it just thumps them away. There is a decent kind of reload, so you can't rapid fire it, and it will knock a zombie back 3 or 4 blocks, so it can be handy. You will quickly stop using it because it is slow and doesn't really do a lot of damage. 15 melee damage versus 26 melee damage, and that's a tier 5 versus tier 6. Tier 6 club does have a bunch of mods on it though. The swing time's about the same, to be honest. I just don't tend to use it, except when you use the secondary fire and you can place it. So wherever you put it down, now it will just fire in whichever directions it's spinning around. It's probably about a 180 degree. Anything coming in front of that, the turret will push them away, doing a little bit of damage. Let's see if we can find a zombie. Okay, found ourselves a zombie. There's another one somewhere. So it does work okay, but if I now put that down, it'll just go off its own accord. It can be handy if you're over here picking a lock on a safe. It wasn't looking, didn't do anything. I'm now going to use the robotic turret. Its accuracy is not great, neither is its damage, but if I put that down, now this is one of the limitations. See that? Closer to the Sledge Turret, it's active, and the Robotic Turret's not. If closer to that, it's active, and that one's not. That's because you can only have one turret down at a time. Unless you spec right down into the 5th one. 2 deployed turrets can be active at once. So if I wanted to go an Intellect build, that would be a very good skill to use, because then you could have 2. I used to use a lot of in some of my games, a lot of the dual turret builds. So you basically just run in, go up to a house, put 2 turrets down in the room, wake everyone up, and just let the turrets go for it. As you spec into it as well, the fire rate gets faster, the damage increases, and the magazine size. And you can also get further away from it. So with this one here, that's far. That's the distance away from it that you can get. Pots back up. If you spec further into it, from 10 to 14, so from 10 to 18 meters, you'll get another 8 blocks away from it. Which is quite handy because you can have a lot of builds that work off turrets. So at this particular build, if I didn't have walls on the tunnel here, and I just had a single block bridge going across here, like a maze style bridge, I could put this turret up here on one block that pokes out. As the zombies run towards me, the sledge will just knock them off and they'll fall down. With this particular design, I put the turret right here, go downstairs. I can still hear it going, and I could stand here with my rifle, my machine gun, and I could be shooting here, and the turret could be up there. You can't see the laser sight. The turret would be up there shooting down at them, so we wouldn't get in the way of each other's shots. Better barter. Better barter is really good for when you're selling things. So you get a better deal when buying and selling. And I think it's the 2nd or 3rd. It's 3rd. Yep, so 3rd, 4th, and 5th. So the first couple of points, you're only going to get 5 and 10% more coins when you're selling, and paying less when you're buying. But from level 3 onwards, the secret stash. So in the trader window where you've got all the different types, resources, guns, ammo, furniture, clothes, yada yada. There's the little safe icon. That's the secret stash. From level 3 onwards, the secret stash gets better loot. So basically the same thing as putting points into perception, lucky looter, but it's lucky looter for the trader's secret stash. So you will get 25% better deal buying and selling, and the secret stash has the best loot in it. So we're talking full vehicles, not just vehicle parts. So you could get a full gyrocopter. You'll get solar banks. Solar banks are the top tier energy creation. So it's under advanced engineering. Your first tier are battery banks. You wrench cars or you loot batteries. You can craft a battery bank and put batteries in it. The batteries do dry up though, just like any battery does. You can recharge them by hooking a generator up with engines in it, and running the generator hooked up to the battery bank will power those batteries back up. Petrol generators are allowed, and you have to have fuel to run them. Solar, on the other hand, is always available, except at night, obviously, but your solar bank can charge the battery bank up all the way through the day, and then when nighttime kicks over, it'll just use the power in the batteries, and then when morning comes back up, it'll charge them back up. So it's a good payoff. Daring Adventurer, that's quest. So whenever you do a trader quest, you'll get another quest, another choice for your reward and more coins. You get 2 additional choices and more coins, 3. And then in the 4th tier, you can actually choose 2 quest rewards and you get 20% more coins. So if you're doing a lot of trader quests, then this would be a good skill to take. Charismatic Nature. You would only get this if you're playing with friends, because when they're nearby, you'll give them a buff. I don't think there's a limit on how many. If you're all together, they'll all get the buff. If everyone takes this, I don't believe they stack. 20 extra health and stamina. Block and melee damage are increased by 20%. 10% less damage. Take half damage from bleeding and stop bleeding twice as fast. And +1 to all attributes. That's these ones up here, your Intellect, Agility, Fortitude, Strength, and Perception. So it's not too bad if you're going to spec into that. Physician, that's all your medical needs. Heal more health over time, gain more XP when using bandages, first aid kit splints, craft fortibites, recog, and antibiotics. Craft 40% faster at chemistry stations. Antibiotics early game are really useful and quite rare, but after you've been playing for a week or 2, you'll probably find that you've got a bit of a stash, and because the more armor you have, the less infection chance you get, and the better you get at the game, you won't be getting bitten anyway. Antibiotics just become a little bit redundant, I find. Very rare that you actually get bitten. Advanced engineering. Any kind of crafting relies on this skill. So the first one gives you forge, craft forges, and 20% faster. Craft glue cheaper. Workbenches, cement mixers. Workbench is where you're going to craft most of your advanced stuff, as in like your even your iron. So all your stone tools you can craft on you, but any of your iron tools and weapons, and your steel tools and weapons, you have to craft in a workbench. If you find a local trader that has a working workbench, you could probably skimp out on this. Cement mixer, that's where you're getting all your concrete. Generators and base defense, electric fence, blade traps, military fiber. Military fiber is your top tier light armor. 20% XP from electrical trap kills. So this is where it starts coming into its own. Electric fences are really good if you can put them in a good location, because they'll string a wire up several blocks from each fence post, and any zombie or human, friend and foe alike, there's no friendly fire protection on that. Anyone who crosses that wire when it's live will get electrocuted. It slows you down to a crawl kind of speed, and gives you a damage over time that lasts for a few seconds after you've gotten out of it. So Really good for zombies because you'll stun them pretty much. They'll barely move because they're already moving slow anyway, unless you've got them on sprint speed. So it's going to slow the zombies down and do a little bit of damage to them. But because they're slowed down, it gives you a really good opportunity to headshot them from a distance. So really good to have around your base or in your choke points anyway. If you do have a style base similar to the one that I have up here, one of my last couple of games I had a tunnel like this. I had a single block coming through the middle and tunnel walls on either side. And on the outside edge here, every second block I had a block. Every second block here I had a block poking out with electric fence wire on it. So probably about 10 or so electric fence posts down this side, and then the same on this side, and then they just interlaced all the way across. You can't rely on them forever because this created a huge web of wires going through here. Zombies were slowing down really quickly. You can link them all up, so you can have a generator over here or down there with a relay hooked up on this wall here, hooked up to the first fence post, and then that just continues on left, right, left, right, left, right, all the way down to the end. The problem is if that wire breaks, every time a zombie crosses a wire or a human crosses a wire, the fence posts on either side of the wire take damage. Only a small amount of damage, but if you've got a 16, 32 or 64 zombie horde night, the fence posts at the furthest end, they're probably only going to last you a couple of minutes. And then that post is going to be broken and it's going to break the line. So it's not a loop where it has to come all the way back to the relay or the generator. It's just a single line. If any of those lines break, that's it. They're all out of action. You can get around that, and what I did in one of my other ones, so I started off here every second block, but on the outside of the block was a relay. So putting a block down here, because the post comes up too high, if I have it on this one here, the wire is going to be coming across here. Perfect height for any zombie, except for the spider zombies and the dogs, because they're only one block high. So pop the block out over here. I don't have any blocks to demonstrate. Put a block here, put the fence post up here, and on the outside of the block, put a relay. Then run your generator to the relay, then the relay to the fence post. From the relay to the next relay to the next relay, and each relay hooks up the post. So you're losing one wire because it's not zigzagging across, it's not coming straight across and then diagonally opposite, then back, then diagonally opposite, then back. It's just one wire across, next one wire across, next one wire across. But when that one down there breaks, it won't affect any of the other ones down here. So you'll have to repair that one. And then depending how many zombies come through, keep repairing them all the way through over here. You could, in this particular design, you could have yourself a little tunnel, a little bridge as well. Use wood frames, or if you want to hop across from one block to the other and running the risk of dropping down, you can get your repair tool out and just jump down all the way to the end, repair that one to get it back up and running. So that's your generators and your electric fences. Blade traps, think a ceiling fan, but on the ground and made of sharp metal. I don't have any on this base yet. I can actually make them. You can see the icon there is lit up. So using these materials, I could make them. Same thing as an electric fence. You just craft it and put it somewhere. It does take up a 3x3 block radius. So I think 3 blocks here by 3 blocks here. Draw a line across that. That's how much room you need to put a blade trap down. If you're putting it on the ground, it'll chop the legs off the zombies. They'll fall down and they'll get minced up. You can put them on, so this pole here, I could put a blade trap there. But because it takes 3 blocks up, so it's going to be 1, 2, 3, and then 1, 2, 3, and across. It's a big square. I couldn't put one over here because it would come into contact with this one over here. So you just have a red box there. I'll do a demonstration of that in another video. I get the points to craft it. Next one down, that's where you get the battery banks and nail gun. So nail gun is your next tier of repair tool. So at the moment you're using a stone axe to repair things. You go up to a hammer. You can then go to a nail gun. Nail guns are a lot faster. And you get more XP from electrical trap kills. Crafting forged steel. And the electric devices cost less. Now the 5th tier, that's where the fun begins. That's when you start getting auto turrets. So think the Robotic Turret, but with an SMG or a shotgun on top of it. They're static. The zombies just turned up. Should be right. So the shotgun turret is the first one that you'll get. It's just a shotgun. It's stationary. You can't move it around unless you've got a land claim block, and you can go and pick it up and put it somewhere else. It needs to be powered, so you've got to have a battery bank or generator or solar bank powering it up, and you've got to put ammunition in it. So you can't just craft, 10, 20 of these, put them around your base, and it's easy mode. You have to supply them with ammunition, and you have to supply them with power. That's the shotgun turret. I'll give you any stats on it other than what you need, and that's the SMG turret. SMG turret doesn't do as much damage as the shotgun auto turret, but it does it at a much greater range, and a lot faster too, because it's machine gun. Lots of small amounts of damage versus a shotgun that fires every 2 to 3 seconds or so. That's just a constant spray of bullets. So you'll go through ammunition a lot faster, but you'll do it at a longer range. Extra XP from electrical trap kills. Electrical traps are any electrical trap, so the turrets, the blade trap, electric fences, you'll actually get XP without doing anything, just by being the person who put them down. And Grease Monkey, the final one, these are your vehicles. So if you're playing in a multiplayer group, somebody should pick this up, unless you're planning on buying them. Buying them, you're going to need a lot of money, because buying vehicles from the trader, or even the vehicle parts from a trader, are very expensive. So having someone speccing into Grease Monkey will save you a lot of time and money. The push bike, when you ride it around, it doesn't cost anything. When you sprint, so when you hold the shift key down, you will run on your bike, and you use stamina for it, so you can't do it all the time. You can do the shift sprint on all the vehicles, but you'll use more fuel or stamina. So the mini bike, that's this one down here. So when I'm riding around, not the best place to do it. I won't bother trying to sprint in there, because I'll just crash. When you're riding, you can see in the bottom right corner, there's the gas gauge. Petrol, gas, fuel, whatever you want to call it. And then there's the health of the vehicle. Each vehicle also has storage. So this one has 3 bars of 2, 4, 6, 8, so 9, 3 rows of 9 there. So same as what you've got here. The push bike only has 1 row. I don't have the Jeep or the Gyrocopter yet in this game. The Jeep has the biggest storage. The Gyrocopter, I think, has got 2 rows open, so you can refuel, you can repair. There are no mods yet, so the mod slots are there for it. For Alpha 20, we'll apparently have mods for vehicles, including dyes. So you can see this vehicle here, I actually have a dye on it already, blue, but it doesn't change the look of the bike. When I pick it up, you can see in the tool belt that it's blue. No real use for it. But in Alpha 20, you'll actually be able to dye, and the vehicle itself will look tinted. The motorbike is quite good. It's a bit bigger than the mini bike. Has big spikes on the front of it, goes faster, has more storage, and looks a fair bit cooler. So you can see it there, but on the front fender there's big spikes on it. It kind of gives you the feeling that you could plow through zombies, and whilst you can run into zombies, the damage that they take is pretty negligible. You would have to run them over several times to kill a zombie. in the same amount of time you could hop off and 1 or 2 shot hit them and kill them. No real benefit to run them over, just go around them. Grease Monkey, that's your 4x4 truck. 4x4 is good. I think it's nearly the same speed as a motorbike, but I think the motorbike has got a slight edge with speed. It has more resources to craft because there's 4 wheels and whatnot. It's also it's the only 2-passenger vehicle, so you can take someone for a ride in it. If you're going looting as a group, or a new player has joined your server and they don't have access to any of your gear, you can drive over, pick them up, bring them back to your base. Somebody dies over looting a massive building, they leave their vehicle there, you've got to get back to them, rather than taking a vehicle, riding over there, picking up their loot, and then putting the vehicle in their backpack. You can just ride over there with them, and then join them, help them pick up their gear, and has the most storage of all the vehicles. Avionics, the last one, that's the Gyrocopter. Gyrocopter does need a runoff. You can't, it's not like a helicopter, it just takes off vertical. You have to get a runoff to get it going. And you drive it like you're moving, so your WASD keys, but you also need to hit the tilt up and tilt down. That's how you descend to the ground, or how you take off. You can do it too much and you tilt the gyrocopter too much vertical, and then you just start going backwards, and you can flip over, and it takes a bit of getting used to. And once you are used to it, it's not too bad. And the main benefit is you can cover ground really quickly. If you look at the map here, this is just Navezgane. There's a trader there. If I wanted to get to it, I'd have to jump on my bike, right up over here, right down there and into there. This mountain here is quite high. These ones here are not too bad. You could cut across a little bit, but on a gyrocopter, just take off and fly a straight line, land right out front. If you're going down here to this little one, it's a long ride down through here, past all the birds, the vultures, across the river and get into here, or you just gyrocopter straight over to it. You could do a loop going around all the different traders, go here, here. There's another trader, I think somewhere up around here. There was a trader around here, but they moved it last alpha or something like that. So gyrocopter is really handy. What I find when I get a gyrocopter, I'll put a mini bike or a motorbike in my backpack. Seems really dumb just carrying around another motorbike, but the benefit is you can travel a large distance, land, put the gyrocopter in your bag, pull your mini bike out and ride around the town, do all your looting, and then jump back into the gyrocopter and fly back home. So that's all the skills. A fairly long video. I hope the video was useful. It all seems pretty straightforward. Basically just giving you my thoughts on how I play. Some of the skills are really useful across all the trees, but for my personal play style, I go the strength one with a little bit of fortitude and intellect just for the crafting and the vehicles. I would say just have a bit of a play around. Go off the weapons that you're going to play with. If you've got access to a lot of heavy hand-to-hand weapons, maybe you consider speccing into the tree that specializes with those ones. But if you don't enjoy the playstyle, then try not to put too many points in there, because there is a limit. You can't just unlock every tree with all the points. I can't remember what the level cap is, but there is one. So don't waste points. Don't put them into things that you know you're not going to use. But if you do want to pick it up as a short term, go back to the trader and buy one of the Forgotten Elixirs. No, you can't craft them. You can only buy them at the trader, and from memory, they're about 40,000 dukes each. So they're quite expensive. But when you get to late game, if you have spec'd heavily into the Intellect build and you're bored with running around with turrets and you want to play around with a big M60 automatic machine gun, drop 40k coins at the trader, buy a Forgotten Elixir, respec all your skills, and give it a try. That's going to be it for the video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, like, subscribe, comment, any questions. If I've gone too quick, waffled on too much, let me know your thoughts. And that's about it. So I will see you next time. Take care.